Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this section of reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. I am currently doing in-person readings in Herkimer, New York. If you're interested, shoot me an email. I'll give you more details. I'm going to use the information like the decks and dice. I'm going to put that all below. Otherwise, you should be seeing this on YouTube channel James13 Wicca, so I don't forget that. If you're not, let me know. And the last thing is, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for tuning in this time, and let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aquarius? This card was pushing out of the deck. It's a success card. It was just Six of Wands. I mean, there's conflict here a little bit. You might thrive through that, though, not for nothing. You might thrive through the conflict in the sense of, like, you know, it needed to be dealt with, so I guess we're dealing with it now. What is this? This is face down. Prince of Swords being nullified. So, okay. What are we actually dealing with is a great question. What is that? The Seven of Wands. I keep feeling conflict with this. That's not the normal meaning for the Seven of Wands. The Five of Wands is, but that's in the future. But I'm getting something like either I stayed away from conflict or I knew sooner or later it would come my way. One of the two. Maybe either up until this point at least, I've been staying away from it, or I was just kind of like, well, sooner or later it'll be at my doorstep and I'll deal with it when I need to. You've been balancing this situation quite well. Quite well. And very selective, very, very selective about how you've been handling it. Because even in this situation, even inaction has been an action. You've physically chosen to not react or not move forward on something. And there's been times where you have. And how much or how little, I feel like it's been very strategic. Some of you have been doing just, it's almost like I'm leaving breadcrumbs out to see what it attracts type thing. Like, maybe not on your kitchen table, but like maybe you have a spot in your backyard, for example, and you've left a couple crumbs out there just to see what type of things come forward and try to get it. That might have been going on here. You have been leading. And I feel like if I'm on the outside, people may not realize that you're the leader in this situation, because I'm looking at like a business situation where there's a manager and you're a person who's a part of the team. But the way you're making decisions, you are leading the situation. You're going to bring forward something here. It's kind of like, maybe I don't have the title, but I don't need it. It's one of the, what am I doing that? I don't know, but I don't need it. There you go. I'm still in control of this. I think you're fully well aware of that too. And it might just be like how I will or will not add into this. They might think they have control, but I know how to do this to where I will decide what I'm going to be a part of and what I won't be. You're definitely in control here. Even if technically you don't have the title, you're still in control. Something, what is that? King of Swords and the Six of Swords. That's not even swords, that's torches. King of Fire, Six of Air. That seems like that could really create like a burst of energy here, ironically. Even though Six of Swords is moving on from troubled waters, it does feel like there could be a burst of energy here due to the air connection. In this moment, I'm not mad at it. I keep getting that. I'm not mad at it. Five of Cups reversed. The Five of Cups reversed, like when it's right side up, it's like not everything is bad, but sometimes we center on the things that are bad versus the things that are good. When it's reversed, not everything is good, but we're centering on things that are good versus what didn't go well. So the Five of Cups reversed can be a very positive card as long as what didn't go well is not being ignored. We still need to acknowledge it, but centering on the positives here is a very good thing, but we need to acknowledge the negatives that also happened here. Something, I don't know if it just passed you by or like there was a potential for a problem here. Something, the Justice card comes in like this, is telling me, it's almost like, you know, it's almost like a kid getting in trouble and they stole cookies out of the cookie jar. Maybe they stole 2 cookies out of the cookie jar. And it's kind of like, okay, that's breaking the rules. You're not allowed to do that. And it's kind of like saying, you know, because you did that, you're not allowed to go to the movie later. We're all going to go to a movie and you're not allowed to be a part of it. It seems like that's overkill. It's kind of like, yeah, something went wrong here, but like the repercussions for it, it does feel like it's overkill. It's kind of like, yeah, all right, we need to reprimand, maybe we need to correct that, but it doesn't have to be that severe a consequence. Like everybody is going out to a movie and this kid has to stay home because they took 2 cookies. It seems like that's overkill. It just seems like the punishment does not match the crime. The energy is here. I feel like I'm not reacting to it, but I'm aware of it. Okay. Something about this moment is nullifying the Ten of Swords. It's kind of like this could have gotten worse. Ten of Swords reversed. That is getting out of devastation. That is not... It's the situation, when it's reversed, it's still not enjoyable, but it didn't go to destruction. But I keep feeling like I don't like it. I feel like this Justice card on its side, and then this card upside down here. It's like it's not acceptable. It can't stay this way. But I didn't get sucked into it. So it didn't get that bad, but I'm still looking at it like, yeah, but something needs to happen here. We need to nullify this. What is this card? Prince of Swords. It's kind of like the Knight of Swords, possibly the Page of Swords. I just kind of flip back and forth with the Prince and the Princess. It depends on how it feels. We need to nullify the energy here. Something isn't right, and I feel like the way it came forward this time, I don't really like it. And I feel like we need to kind of nullify it. Due to the way this played out, and it not being addressed in the moment, kind of like, okay, the kid ate 2 cookies they weren't supposed to, and now they didn't get to go to the movie. You say that's how it worked out. They got excluded from the movie. Everybody else went down to town, got to see the movie. They didn't get to see it. It played out that way. Because of how that played out, because of what, like, it bothered a lot of people is what I'm getting. Clearly it's an analogy. A lot of people were very bothered by this and felt like this was overkill and this was more cruel than corrective. You have support around you. There will be a conflict about this. Okay. And somebody's going to have to dig themselves out of a hole. Okay. Somebody has to dig themselves out of a hole, and something will be changing from this. Now, these cards aren't that bad, these two, but I have alluded to it a couple times. This is a conflict card. The conflict is here. I keep getting like it feels like this is a pattern here. we also have the Phoenix coming in, so I do feel like this is a pattern. I don't know if you're addressing it as a pattern. It's a general read. You might be. It's definitely a pattern. Cycle. Whatever you want to call it. This is the time to get involved in it to be the most advantageous for you. You could just kind of quietly direct and move things around and be very effective yet unnoticeable if you want to be. Aquarius is a complicated energy, in my opinion. You can be right in the middle of stuff without people realizing you're right in the middle of stuff. Very complicated energy. Very putting that energy out there, getting other people to move forward on it, to correct this, to make this go right, without getting too much energy towards you. That way you have that view from the hill, kind of like people don't realize that I'm the one that's kind of moving things forward and sorting it out. So if people don't realize that I'm doing that, they don't become a direct problem for me. It gives me an advantage to see things differently because people aren't trying to impress me, because they're not trying to impress me, because they don't think I have the power. I can see what's really going on here. You could do that. I don't feel like this is really going to work well that way. This is the point, and you're going to probably have a lot of data. We're going to call it data. Where you know this is, I feel like I can look back and I'd be like, this is clearly a pattern. This is a cycle. I feel like I already know, even if for example, maybe you started a job and you're 2 weeks into it. You've heard enough from other people where you're like, hey, let's talk about this incident I heard about. And I heard about this incident. And I heard about that incident. Is this all the same person? This keeps happening. We clearly need to take the ability for this person to delve out, to dish out punishment. We need to take that away from them. Somebody else needs to be doing that because they do overkill. And this is more demeaning than anything else. This is more cruel than corrective. Using history to your advantage. Grounding the situation. Putting it like, this is the truth. This is what happened. We all know this is what happened. And these outcomes over and over and over have been over the top. Clearly this person is not good at this. We need to remove them from that position and put them in a different one and put somebody with a kinder heart in that position. They don't have to be like, you know, like a soft little pillow about it, but you shouldn't be a bag of rocks either. Shouldn't be a bag of rocks smacking somebody with a bag of rocks. We don't need a pillow either, granted, but there's somebody else who would be a better match for this, and this person isn't doing well. I feel like I'm a little bit apprehensive about coming forward that way. But I get that, like, the whole situation can have a major upgrade. It's like if it was here, it was operating at this level, it can have a major upgrade. Is it going to be perfect? I don't think there's anything in this world that's perfect, but, you know, whatever. Perfect, I just don't feel like perfect is realistic. Better. This is still here. It's not like we're just going to fix it and move on with our lives. While I do think that you're going to easily connect to that thought, set the deck in your favor. Make sure that that energy's out there where whoever you're working with or whatever you're working with, you're letting them know, like, I don't think this is just going to be a one and done. We got to keep an eye on this, and I can help keep an eye on this. But this is something that we need to keep an eye on. We can't just be like, well, that's good enough, and just go about our merry way and pretend like everything's perfect. Because we will be pretending if we do that. Judgment can go in the favor of the whole situation. Things can solidify better, but we still need to remember sometimes it goes better, sometimes it goes worse. It's kind of like if you have kids, sometimes some days are easier to deal with kids. Even if they're having a horrible day, if you're having a good day, it's easier to deal with that. If they're having a horrible day and you're having a horrible day, that's a heavier challenge. That's a heavier challenge. So it's kind of like remembering that, having those checks and balances, keeping that moving forward that way. The outcome here is you're probably going to end up with a deeper connection to the situation than you originally wanted. Because I feel like once you start fixing things, it's kind of like, well, I fixed that, so I should fix this too. And I fixed that, so I guess I should fix this too. And before you know it, you're knee deep in fixing things. I just feel like once you start fixing things, you just can't tolerate things not working right. You're like, no, I started fixing it, now I got to keep fixing it, because there's just no point. Why fix that and let the rest of it go to crap around it? It makes no sense. If I'm going to fix that, I'm going to look out for this. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to do what I need to do. I don't really think it's hard. It's just kind of like, I feel like I keep questioning, like, why am I doing this? Why did I choose to do this? But this is your power. This is literally the good you create in the world. It'll have its ups and downs. It'll have its checks and balances. You know how that goes. But I do feel like you're going to help people advance. One of the reasons I feel like sometimes Aquarius holds back is because it kind of ebbs and flows. And if I'm wrong, I'm feeling like you'll tell me right in the comments. There's periods of time where you're very, very liked. And there's periods of time where you're just not. And it feels like it goes up and down and up and down. It depends on what the situation is and how that goes and how intense it is and what subject you're dealing with. But I feel like sometimes people like me, and that's nice. Other times people don't like me, and I'm like, well, I don't know if that's fair, but that's what they're doing. So I feel like that's one of the reasons I'm like apprehensive about being a part of this way at this level, because I know how this goes. It's just, I'm liked for a while, I'm not liked for a while. And just, I never know. Sometimes I just don't know where people are going to land with a situation, even though it seems like rationally they should be here. They're way over there, and vice versa. But this is the beauty that you bring to the world. This is the gift that you are. You don't have to do anything. I feel like that's obvious. But you could help people really discover the truth, and you could really advance things forward. And this is kind of the purpose of an Aquarius, in my opinion. That's the purpose of that energy. I've had Aquarius told me this once. If you were liked all the time, if Aquarius was liked all the time, you wouldn't be effective. Because when you're not liked part of the time, you know, people listen to you more intently, and they're more likely to go, uh-oh, am I going to like or dislike what the Aquarius is going to say? They don't just take it for granted that it's going to be a good time. They don't just take it for granted it's going to be a bad time. They realize they got to pay attention and listen intently to know where you're coming from and what you need to address. So if it's one or the other, where they think they always like you or they think they don't, it kind of messes with how effective you are. I heard that from an Aquarius, so I don't know, take that where you need to take that. I think we're done. I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.